into the pick and ban phase of the KDL Tier 1 match. This is set 2 in the best of 3 between Zephyr Dota and MVP Phoenix. Ember Spirit banning out, MVP banning out the Ember Spirit first. Very, very interesting to see that happen. Following up with the Slark, and Zephyr removing the Timbersaw and Mirana from play while grabbing the Nyx Assassin. And this time around, MVP will grab the Lifestealer. So switching teams, not sides. And another pick, Sand King. Whoa! And Zephyr following that with the IO pick. This is really cool. MVP, they're taking heroes that Zephyr like to play. But with the Wisp pick from Zephyr, we have seen Eosin on the Wisp a good amount of times. He has proven to be a solid Wisp player. The question now remains, what hero will complement the Wisp? Can it be the Tiny? It won't be the Chaos Knight. He did get removed. There's, of course, Eosin from Team Zephyr, one of their support players. And that's Horizon. Oh no, that's 4F, excuse me. They do kind of look similar though. Alright, well, the next pair of bans, of course, the Chaos Knight, Shadow Demon, Nature's Prophet, and Storm Spirit removed. I like that Zephyr's not afraid to ban out the Storm Spirit. Like they originally were known for that hero, but they're quite a versatile team. You could say the same for MVP. Purge, he was handling the Tidehunter last game. Unfortunately, the sheer amount of initiation power that MVP had in game number 1, it felt like the Tidehunter didn't bring a lot of presence to the game. There's Ryzen. And ooh, another, I guess, a little bit more unconventional pick from MVP. It's going to be the Ancient Apparition. Something to note, though, this hero has been picked up more and more in a competitive play as of late, even getting some respect bans. And Ice vs. Ice as Zephyr grabs the Crystal Maiden to complement their lineup, which most likely puts Sexy Bambo on the Nyx Assassin in the off lane. And MVP secures their mid laner with the Invoker, and Zephyr deciding to play the Templar Assassin against him. A very quick reaction as well from Zephyr. There's Sexy Bambo. Zephyr's off laner. Didn't have an amazing game on the Nature's Prophet last game. He got caught and ganked a lot, and there's not much you can really do against the Bat Rider and Ember Spirit. They're fire. They like to use fire, and they kind of burn down trees. But we're going to find out the last pick for Zephyr. Is it going to be the Tiny? I'm pretty sure they will pick the Tiny, but will MVP ban him out as their last hero? You can still relocate with a lot of different heroes, but we generally see the Chaos Knight combo and the Tiny combo the most. There's March. Offlaner for MVP. He's moved around a little bit, and yeah, the Tiny ban was pretty obvious. But Zephyr must have known that the Tiny is going to get removed. And Corey doesn't look to be entirely happy about last game. There's Heen, the mid laner for MVP. Got to say hi to him in the bathroom during the break. Oh! And there we go. There's your last pick, the Ursa for Team Zephyr. I forgot about that. That's another hero that can work very well with Relocate. So the heroes are picked on both ends. It's time to move into the second match of the Korean Dota 2 League. Tier 1 match, Set 2. Let's move into the game. My name is Whiplash. Thank you all for tuning in. It's time for some Korean Dota. As we move into the match, we see Team Zephyr on the Radiant side, and their opposition, MVP Phoenix, in the Dire camp. This is, of course, the Tier 1 Korean Dota 2 League. Match 2, it's a best of 3. MVP are up 1-0 after first picking the Ember Spirit, which worked extremely well for them. So I'm happy to see Sexy Bambo on the Nyx Assassin offlane. Haven't gotten to see this since the NSL Season 3 finals. Oh, that's unfortunate. The Observer Ward, or Sentry Ward, just out of range of the normal one. And as far as lanes are concerned, Ursa and Wisp will be in the bottom lane. Crystal Maiden will probably do a little bit of pulling, maybe a little bit of jungling herself. And Io picking up the invisibility rune. So Blitz versus Heen in the mid lane. Templar Assassin, that refraction will be great against the mini stuns from Cold Snap. A Sexy Bambo, no points acquired just yet. So that's early Chilling Touch being picked up by Dabu. And Blitz should be decently happy with this lane. Hopefully he can make a little bit more happen this game than he did last game with his Timber Saw. It feels like the drafting phase did not work out for Zephyr in the previous game. And this time around, can they start snowballing up that Ursa once we have that Relocate available to Team Zephyr? It's going to be the question. Also, Sexy Bambo using his Vendetta. He can do a little bit of scouting for Zephyr. And then they just kind of, teleport in and get the kills. Sexy Bambo. Actually, he's in a lot of trouble, and First Blood is drawn. Man, that Chilling Touch just adding a lot of extra DPS. Those right clicks. I felt like a little bit of a overextension from Sexy Bambo. Sand King just healing himself on up with regeneration, and we'll be happy about that. We should see the Sand King do a little bit of jungling, as well as pulling and stacking that easy creep camp to help out the lane situation for MVP in the top. So far, TA getting a little bit more farm than the Invoker. A little bit of a difference last game. And the Ursa, which of course being played by Corey, topping off the last hits. 17-10 actually. This Lifestealer not getting as much farm as I would have expected. If there's one thing you can count on Corey, to do. It's to get those last hits. He'll do it. He'll make it happen. And uh-oh, Bambo. He doesn't want to get frozen. Still takes a little bit of damage. He is okay. Oh, nice. Gets the stun. Forces a cancel on the clarity. Clockwork just stealing experience where he can. Because if he gets frozen by Purge, and Ursa he's going to go to town on 4-Ev. Once again, it's still a relatively passive game. I feel that these teams, they have a lot of respect for each other. And they don't want to, go head first into a battle that they're not ready to take on. That 4-minute Hand of Midas. So Corey timing Hand of Midas from MVP. Sexy Bambo doing a little bit of pulling, getting some farm where he can. The life of an offlaner. Not a glorious one. Sometimes can be brutal. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do. And end up feeding a kill or two. Well, Heen getting a little bit of support in. And I guess that Clockwork did not want to stick around for a long time. And Voker's still trailing about 5 last hits behind the Templar Assassin. Corey pretty far ahead of the Light Stealer, surprisingly. Sexy Bambo, I guess he's getting in a good amount of harassment here. Oh, there's the Hand of Midas finally. I saw the recipe. It did seem a bit early. Ooh. That Sunstrike is potentially going to force Sexy Bambo home, but man, he's sticking around there. And he's getting aggressive too, wow. Very, very ballsy move from Sexy Bambo. Uh-oh, and Heen actually ends up giving a kill away. As we caught the end of that. Purge coming in to do a little bit of assistance. And that's pretty much going to give lane dominance to the Templar Assassin that is now almost doubling the creep score and going toe-to-toe with the Lifestealer. He has picked up his Hand of Midas. That's going to help him out a lot. Oh, and Blitz, he has a bottle, getting the regeneration rune. I'd love to see some type of gank from the mid. Blitz generally likes to stay in the mid lane and kind of do a little bit of more farming. So having him rotate around a little bit would be nice. But MVP, their lineup's kind of very reserved and just, hug those towers, stay back. Don't be too aggressive in the early stages. Sand King whispering his enemies to death in that sandstorm. But still, overall, relatively passive game. 1-1, 7 minutes into the game between Zephyr and MVP Phoenix. My name is Whiplash. I'm providing the on-site commentary in the Nexon Arena in Gangnam, Seoul, Korea. And if you guys live in Korea, feel free to come to the studio. Entry is free, and they even have a Dota 2 secret shop here as well. They have a lot of cool shirts, some phone cases as well. I have a cool Korean Dota 2 phone case of my own. So getting some sentry wards for the middle lane make TA's life a little bit harder. But he's pretty much already won this lane. And surprisingly, Nyx Assassin has 21 last hits. Sexy Bambo finding farm despite being in the off lane and giving up that first blood. I have to say that the laning phase is going pretty darn good for Zephyr. And when your mid player isn't that far ahead of the offlaner in terms of last hits, you know something's up. Oh, and Blitz is moving towards the middle. The stun is good. And he's just going to run away for the time being. Now moving back, trying the DPS Voodoo down, and he is toast, but the rest of MVP is in hot pursuit. Blitz will end up giving the kill. Ryzen manages to pick that up. But Svorev could end up paying the price. Oh, Ursa can. Well, he doesn't get the kill, but Yosin does manage to finish him off. So 3 for 2, Zephyr, a very slight lead. With the amount of mobility that Zephyr has, as soon as that relocate goes online, I think we're going to see a lot of ganks. The Sand King is going to have to be careful as well. But this seems to be a trust in Corey. We'll make sure he gets his farm and he wins for us in the late game. Sand King, about 1,800 gold in his coffers. That's going to be a very early Blink Dagger. Oh, he's going to get the courier. Down it goes. Very nice. A Town Portal Scroll Clarity and a Bracer out of the picture for a couple of minutes. Has to waste the Vendetta, but certainly a good trade. That extra courier gold is so nice to have. So Forev doing what he can in the off lane. Has fared, I guess, not as well as Bambo on the Nyx. Heen has been doing what he's been able to against the Templar Assassin mid. Blitz 1-1 with a good amount of farm to his name. Oh, but here comes in Corey for the ultimate. Life Stealer, he makes it into the creep. Are they going to stay? Oh, that was darn close for March. If that creep wasn't there, he would have certainly been dead. But still, nice gank attempt from Zephyr. They're going to have more chances in the future. And as long as the Nyx Assassin can kind of set them up with kills, give them a little bit of vision, they should be able to get a few more kills under their belt over the next few minutes. Yeah, Blitz looking very comfortable on the Templar Assassin. Oh, March, low on health. Oh, very nice, sexy Bambo with the plays. The stun, the mana burn, then Vendetta follow-up. I don't think MVP was expecting that whatsoever. That's going to put a big hindrance into MVP's farm. And a 12 creep kill advantage going the Corey over the Life Stealer. And Blitz as well, doing very, very good on farm, up to 61 last hits. Uh-oh, sexy Bambo. Yeah, he's going to fall. Both ultimates used just to make sure he's out of the picture. And that's also going to be a Blink Dagger for the Sand King. So initiation online for MVP Phoenix. I would like to see a relocate. There's just so many squishy heroes from MVPs lying in the jungle. It's almost folly for Zephyr to not move around for those kills. Blink Dagger has been completed for Corey, and he's working into his Vladimirs as well. Nyx Assassin, 1,200 gold to his name, most likely saving for the Blink Dagger. Crystal Maidens decided to run a little bit behind him. Oh, March. Yeah, he'll be okay. Ryzen, we're relocating towards the top, providing some extra support. Bambo, he's going to do a bit of scouting, looking for someone to pick off this mid lane. Could end up being next. Bambo, he has to be patient, he has to wait. MVP, they know something's up. They have to be careful because of the double damage rune regardless. I think that actually just ran out, though. As far as gold goes, Zephyr, they are ahead 54 to 46%. The Vladimir's offering has completed for the Ursa. Ooh, Ryzen. Oh, he's actually spotted. Bamboo, no, what are you doing? Oh my. The throws, the throws. Ancient Apparition all to the face. Man, that was just simply a misplay from Bamboo. He stayed around there way too long. He was spotted and didn't run out away. The ward was placed. It wasn't even needed, but that's just that was kind of a mistake, I feel, from Bamboo. Ursa still continuing his unending farm, and most likely we'll see this tier 1 tower follow shortly as well. There is a fortification available, but not going to happen. Yosin surprisingly gets the last hit on the tower. I think Corey wanted to get that. And Invoker picking up his Hand of Midas. Nice try, but he's out of the way. Oh, Bamboo. Forev's looking for the hook. Deciding to move towards the mid. He has a haste rune available, and he's currently using. I am a little bit surprised we're not seeing more gank potential from Corey. Him and Eosin could just kind of pop around the map, maybe place some aggressive wards in their opponent's base. They can use the Nyx Assassin to place them. But, I mean, if you're going to go for this combo, why not use it? Bamboo. Oh, here comes. Oh, wow. Very nice preemptive. Oh, wow. That is not where you want to be. Corey, he's going to end up getting killed. Wisp balls as well. Bamboo. Bamboo. He gets a nice double stun, but is it going to be enough? In comes the cold snap. And he is toast. MVP dealing with that relocate beautifully. Preemptive rage, dodges the DPS and stun from the Nyx Assassin. Blitz and Purge team up to kill the mid tower, but I mean, MVP, they're in an advantage once again. Uh-oh, March, he's getting very aggressive. I think he has an Infest available, does use that to heal up slightly. Purge is going to have to tiptoe his way home. Down goes the top tower. Corey in hot pursuit with Blitz, but there's just a little bit too many creeps, and that's going to force them back. Holy crap. That Sand King has 8 kills. That is one farm Sand King. He has every single kill for MVP. That is a little bit ridiculous. So at 16 minutes, 45 seconds into Game 2 between Zephyr and MVP Phoenix, we have a bit of an edge for MVP. They're leading 8-4. Zephyr haven't really been able to utilize the relocate ganks. Forev extremely low. He should survive. And that Ancient Apparition global presence has got to be very annoying. Sexy Bamboo is near the invisibility ward, so he'll probably get spotted if he treads over that yonder way. Zephyr are still ahead as far as gold is concerned. Not a huge difference, but they are ahead. Ryzen placing down some preemptive sentry wards to deal with Bamboo. And Bamboo, he's really close to that Blink Dagger. Only about 150 gold away. He doesn't want to do a fight until he has that dagger, but that also may mean that the tier 1 will fall uncontested. Sand King Ryzen, the 8-0 Sand King. He's continuing to place a few wards. Ancient Apparition throwing his ult to the bot lane. That's going to hit Purge. Annoying. Oh, and the rocket as well. Can they get a Sunstrike? Wow! No spells, besides ones that you have to shoot across the map. Managed to hit that Crystal Maiden. Down Purge goes. Very well executed by MVP. I actually have to say that Phoenix, they're really outplaying Zephyr at this point. They have been playing the better game. Well, I suppose if they get behind enough, we'll hold that thought. In comes Sand King and March. It's basically a relocate versus relocate battle. Slightly different methods. One involving infesting your friend, the other one involving being teleported across space and time. But we're seeing the Life Stealer Sand King combo reign supreme. Zephyr, I don't know what to say, but things are not looking good for them. Sand King saving up a good amount of additional gold. I'm curious to see what he wants to buy. Could be a Black King bar. He has his mana boots as well. Oh, Bambo. He has the Blink Dagger. He's managed to do a little bit of DPS. In comes the relocate. That's what I'm looking for. Down go 2 members of MVP. But in comes Raisin with the ultimate. Can he get 3 kills? Corey, he's on the run. Blitz. He's able to help out. Blink away and Town Portal just in time, but holy crap. This Sand King is looking almost unstoppable. Blitz, thanks to the refraction, he does run away and survive. But man, great play by Zephyr, and then Ryzen with the epicenter, even more impressive. And getting the regeneration rune as well. Item-wise, it looks like a Veil of Discord will be the item of choice for this 11-0 Sand King. Jesus Christ. That is the most farmed Sand King I think I have ever seen. Sand King carry, new meta. You heard it here first, Korean Dodo. All right, Sexy Bambo. Cloaked up yet again. Can he find a kill somewhere? There are some sentry wards around. And treading into dangerous territory. In comes a TP from Purge. Excuse me, Blitz. Okay, nice blink. Relocate will follow up shortly. Nice hooking from 4F, but man, he is just getting sliced and diced to bits. He is dead, and March, the Infest is down. He's running away, gets slowed. Nice impale blink from Sexy Bambo. And there's the kill that they're looking for. Corey returning to the top. Veil of Discord picked up by Ryzen. So if the DPS wasn't enough, this is going to make it even worse. Plays like that is exactly what Zephyr needs to make if they want to stay in this game and get ahead. Uh-oh. Dabul gets stunned. Mana burn after the Vendetta. Nothing he could do. I gotta say, Bambo, he's making up for that early game, I guess 2 early game kind of mess-ups, giving away the first blood, and then kind of just dying in the trees near the tier 1 tower at the mid lane. As far as experience goes, Zephyr, they are a little bit behind MVP. Gotta think that Hand of Midas on the Lifestealer, I'm assuming, for that. But still overall even. And Crystal Maiden just doing a little bit of farming, clearing off some creeps. Okay, cool. Now Clockwork's picked up his 4-staff. Look at this guy. He is just looking for the kills. He dies to a single burrow strike. Man. It's Ryzen's day. He's getting all of the kills. 12 of the kills on MVP Phoenix. Like 99% of the kills, they're at the Sand King. The game is still far from over. We haven't seen too much of Fiend. He did get a nice Sunstrike off. Uh-oh, well, I guess we're not going to be seeing him much anymore as he just got blasted to pieces. In came the recall. Blitz is invisible. Did he just? I think he may have just missed the remainder of Phoenix. Ryzen is spotted. In comes the relocate. Mana burn as well. Corey, can he get the kill? Yosin will end up dying. But still, this is looking like a pretty darn solid trade for MVP Phoenix. Nice stun preventing March from getting out of there. And mauled to death by the bear. Blitz, can he go in? Can he get the last kill? If he gets 4F, which it does look like he will. Down he goes, MVP. What is going on? Zephyr has secured a kill lead for the first time, I believe, in the match. They're going to get a tier 1 tower and maybe even a second tower, as most of MVP is still down for the count for the time being. Oh, poor Purge. The AoE damage, it's just, he can't TP away. I think he's going to end up dying. Oh my gosh. Very close. The threshold for him dying, I think, was not far off. Ancient Apparition really hurting on farm, however. And the tier 2 tower will fall. That's what MVP gets for losing a really big team fight. Yosin working on the mechanism. Not too far away, just needs the recipe. Nice Ancient Apparition ult. Ooh, trying to follow it up with the Sunstrike. Not going to happen, however. We do see Lifestealer grab his Basher, and a Force Staff added to the collection of Nyx Assassins. Assassin-like items, I suppose. In addition to the Blink Dagger. And Blitz, he has the Black King bar. He has about 4k gold saved up as well. Taboo doing a little bit of de-warding. And there's the Desolator for Blitz. That's going to provide some nice extra DPS. Poor Purge, once again picked off. He's like a piece of paper. I mean, you just he falls over. There's nothing you can do. There's just too much AoE damage, or I guess global spell damage that can pick him off. Ooh, in comes the relocate, Sexy Bamboo. Does get a stun off. I think he should be okay, but Yosin pretty much just gives his life away. Wasting the Sand King ult, though. That's another important thing to point out. Haste Rune is activated for the Clockwork, but the rest of Zephyr, relatively on the defensive. Really, when it comes to these team fights, that's when Zephyr is going to have a nice advantage. They have a lot of farm. They have BKBs on their carries. And a potential Roshan attempt. I don't think MVP can go for it, though. Their Lifestealer is just a tad bit too low on health. And look at that. We have the Sheep Stick, the Scythe for the bear. So that's pretty much anyone he gets close to is going to die. Invoker has decided to grab Necrominion 3. And Corey and friends going to work on, well, he's already dead. Quite a fast death on the Roshan. And Corey has the Aegis. He's got good farm. In comes the relocate, forcing the cogs, and Corey's saying, okay, March, you're my next target. He gets sheep, down he goes. That Invoker looks like he may be next. And he falls. Blink forward, can we get another kill? 3 kills for Corey. Holy crap, he is just starting to ball out of control. 18-18. Don't let the even score fool you. When it comes to the team fights, Zephyr, they have the advantage, and we could actually see them move in and try to take out this tower. The Ancient Apparition ult will be annoying. Purge needs the run for his life. Thankfully, the other AoE heroes are dead, or global spell heroes are out of the picture. Reason moving in with the ultimate. Can it be enough to take out Corey? He's extremely low, finishing off the melee racks. Blinks away. Very smart decision making from the Ursa. Doesn't have to burn that Aegis. Unfortunately for MVP, they had a great early game, a really good early game, solid mid game, but as time went on, Corey, he just had a ridiculous amount of farm. They managed to get a few good relocate ganks, and Zephyr's managed to snowball into a very deadly force. Ancient Apparition just can't find any farm whatsoever. No alt staff for him, no Yules, no nothing. I don't even know if he has anything beyond Naked Boots. And Lifestealer, farm-wise, he's way behind the Templar Assassin, who's decently behind the Ursa. So Corey showing us that last game, you know, that Ember Spirit barely outfarmed him despite having like a ridiculous amount of extra farm available to him with all of the creeps and the stacks. And we see MVP going for a smoke gank. Ryzen has finally ended up dying. There's also a gym on him, which means Sexy Bambo, he can't sneak around, can't be as assassin-like as he may want to be. And the Aegis is gone. And MVP, did you manage to get the mid tower? I think with a little bit of help from the Necrominion. You know, Blitz is starting to get extremely scary. He has a double damage rune. Oh, in comes Sexy Bambo. He gets the blank whiff on the stun though. Corey, he's going to try the man mode march. And excellent ultimates coming from MVP. They do lose Sexy Bambo, but Ryzen will end up falling next. The BKB combo, Sheep on March, and he will end up falling. There's just way too much damage from Zephyr for MVP to deal with. Down goes the Ancient Apparition. For Ev, he may end up being next. Way too much damage. 2 buybacks from MVP. They lost essentially everybody besides the Invoker. But man, it's just looking very, very bad for MVP. These team fights not going their way. That was the best that they could have really hoped for. They killed the Sexy Bambo. They had the Ancient Apparition ult hit many people. The Epicenter as well did a good amount of damage. But beyond that, they couldn't take out the damage dealers, Corey and Blitz. And with the Daedalus complete, that's just going to be an even harder Blitz to deal with. Basher as well for Corey. What item will he get rid of? I guess his TP scrolls. Ryzen still looking. The Lifestealer / Sand King gank attempts haven't been necessarily as successful as the Nyx gank attempts. And as far as experience goes, Zephyr holding a 54% advantage over MVP. MVP, at least, they still have the ranged barracks in the mid lane. Roshan should be respawning in about 6 minutes. Unfortunately for March, he's been getting picked off in almost every team fight. He's 3-5. His farm certainly could be better at 33 minutes into the match. That Abyssal Blade. If he gets that, maybe he can deal with the Ursa. But the Sheep Stick's still something that needs to kind of be dealt with on MVP's end. And a little bit of lull in the action at the KDL Korean Dota 2 League. This is Set2. Hold that thought. Bamboo moves in. He doesn't get the stun, unfortunately. Ancient Apparitions ult will miss as well. Something important to note, Sexy Bamboo picked up the gem that MVP had. I'm pretty sure they picked it up. There's a small chance they could have bought one of their own, but I think they just grabbed it. MVP, they're in position to defend this tower, except for the Ancient Apparition. He can throw his ult across the map. Sexy Bamboo also set up in the jungle. Just waiting for the opportunity to blink in and get a stun off. Oh, Force Staff, in comes the stun from Sexy Bamboo. It's good. He's sheeped, but Corey deciding to go on March. Holy crap. He is going to fall. Ryzen is next. Invisible, but it doesn't even matter. Wow, 3 deaths almost instantaneously. No deaths for Zephyr. This is going to be another tower and maybe even barracks. 70 seconds on the clock. Well, that Lifestealer is out of the picture, and honestly, the Lifestealer for MVP hasn't really accomplished anything. Throwing out a big old meatball, but I'm not sure if that can do too much. Force Staff, a sheep. The DPS is good. Blitz gets a kill, and Sexy Bamboo keeps 4F kind of stuck in position. He will pay with his life. The gem's on the ground, but GG is called. MVP knows there's simply no chance for them. Well played by Zephyr. Much better game than the first. And this means we will be moving into the first Game 3 of the Korean Dota 2 League. Zephyr and MVP now tied up 1-1. I would say that as far as the last game went, it was pretty even, but towards the later end, the snowballing from Zephyr is just a little bit too much for MVP to handle. The Lifestealer wasn't making plays. The Sand King got pretty much all of the kills. And Sand King can't carry a team, unfortunately. But we're going to go into a quick commercial break. My name is Whiplash. This is the KDL League. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.